Are you guys tired of losing games because of your chocolate rank teammates? Well, in this video, I'm going to be telling you the top 5 best solo queue EXP laners in this game. Now, the ranking that I'm giving for this video is anything above Mythical Glory Plus, and the heroes that I'm giving you in this video, if you play them correctly, you can easily maintain a 70% win rate in solo queue. Now, what are my credentials to be giving you guys this information? Well, firstly, I can easily go to the Mobile Legends website and look at the rankings. But secondly, I am a top 13 NACT EXP laner, and with that in mind, you guys have to understand that as a pro scene player, I know exactly everything you need to know about EXP lane, but that is not the focus of this video. The focus of this video is solo carrying as an EXP laner, which of course, if I play it at a pro scene level, I'm gonna know how to do that as well. So without further ado, let's get into the layout of this video. So for the layout of this video, what we're going to be doing is firstly stating the hero, what makes them so strong, and then we're going to give you 2 different builds and emblems to use on them based on your preferred playstyle. Some of the heroes will have a much more recommended build, while other heroes will have builds that have some leniency in between. So now that you understand the layout, I don't want to drag this video on too long. Let's get into the comments that I always do before the start of every video, and then we're going to get right into it. So the first comment I'm going to reply to is from Iru here. Well, my question is it better to learn the basics of every hero and be a master at draft, ban, and pick, or master a single hero to global and spam the same hero even if the opponents have hard counters already picked? Obviously, it is your first part. You should be learning every hero's basics so that way you know how to counter them. And then afterwards, if you want to one-trick a hero, at least you have a good enough understanding of every hero in the game. You need to perfectly master how this game works first in terms of how heroes are played and what they want to do. So at the number 5 spot for me, we have Badang. Now, Badang is an absolutely amazing hero in the current meta. He is still extremely strong despite all of the nerfs to him. He's still way too strong on EXP lane. When you play him with a 40% cooldown build, his set potential is too crazy and his stun lock is way too brutal. The thing is that you can play him on a full tank build and still get 20 to 30% of the team's damage, which if you think about it is gross. And why is that the point? Why is it possible for Badang to do that? It's because his base damage is so high. I see way too many people playing him on an assassin build. You guys do not need to play him on this build. Play him on a build using Thunderbelt, Brute Force Breastplate, Oracle, Winter Crown, and any last item that you want. If you play him with this build, I promise you that you're going to be winning most of your games. As for the emblem, you should be using Support Emblem, you should be using Inspire, and then you can be using either Tenacity, Wilderness Blessing, and you should use Brave Smite as your main big one, because Brave Smite is going to give you extra sustain in those team fights and in the laning phase, which is something that Badang does not have a lot of. In terms of playstyle for Badang, always look to be setting for your team. Your main priority is to try to be right in front of your teammates and set the enemy, because even if they are the dumbest people in the world, if they see an enemy stun locked that you just set, they will most likely attack them. So this is the way that you need to play Badang. Try to stun lock the enemy jungler on objectives, do all of these basic macro things that EXP laners are supposed to do. Don't AFK and split push in lane because that is not how you play Badang. But you will be able to easily solo carry games with the help, of course, of the team's damage with Badang. Now you might think, what if my team is never around me? Well, then it's your fault. When you're playing a hero like Badang, you need to be around your team. Even if they are stupid, as I have mentioned before, you need to set in front of their face. And when you do that, 110% of the time, they will end up attacking the person that is stun locked. Anyways, let's get into hero number 2, which is Lapu Lapu. Lapu Lapu is absolutely insane in the current meta. I mean, come on, the amount of damage reduction he gets from his second skill, the amount of sustain he has, the CC immunity he has, Lapu Lapu is an absolute menace to society. And I feel like even though everyone knows how strong he is, not many people are using him properly. Anyways, for the build that you should be using on Lapu Lapu, I suggest building this way. Make sure to buy Fury Hammer, then you can either finish your boots or go straight into War Axe. After that, go immediately for Queen's Wings and then for Oracle. And then the last 2 items, you can choose what you want to do. Typically, I go for an Immortality and Winter Crown swap and I build a defense item according to the enemy, or I can even build more sustain such as a Twilight Armor, which gives me extra healing and also burst sustain. As long as you guys are building these kind of items, Lapu Lapu is a demon who is able to quite literally sustain way too much damage. There is a reason why he is one of the most picked and one of the most banned heroes in rank right now. It is very easy to solo carry with him, as there's almost nobody in the game that can do anything about his massive sustain and his crazy burst damage. You guys need to be playing Lapu or banning him. He is definitely one of the top 5 best EXPs right now. The next EXP laner I want to talk about is none other than Ruby. We all know that they gave her passive lifesteal back, which means that she's immediately back in the meta. The fact that you can go for War Axe, and then you can go for Fury Hammer or Hunter Strike afterwards just to balance out with some damage, and then you can immediately head into Queen's Wings, Oracle, and all of these sustain items, makes her have crazy damage while also having insane sustain. You guys need to understand that Ruby is one of the heroes that you can be flexible on. You can either build War Axe as your only sustain item and go for extra tankiness if your team needs a bigger frontliner, or you can go for War Axe and Hunter Strike and then into your sustain items so that you have a bit more damage. Now, the way you know when to do what is going to be based on your team. Typically, if you have a support roamer, you can try to go either for the full tank build or you can go for the damage build. It's entirely up to you. But I suggest that if you have a tanky jungler or a sustain fighter jungler who is going to be frontlining with you, that you go for the Hunter Strike instead, because you're going to have that little bit of extra damage, which could be the difference in you confirming kills solo. We all know how strong Ruby is. You don't even need to have teams with you when you fight with Ruby. You can jump into the enemies 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, 1 versus 5 based on how fed you are, and most of the time you're able to kill a few and sustain enough damage to live through it, or you're able to kill a few and you're gonna die after that, or you're able to literally wipe the entire enemy and make them wonder why Ruby wasn't banned in that game. You need to play Ruby. She is also extremely amazing. Anyways, on to the next hero, which is none other than Zhong. Now, Zhong is always going to be one of those amazing solo carry heroes on EXP lane, and while he may fall off harder in late game in comparison to a Ruby or in comparison to a Lapu Lapu or a Badang, he is extremely strong in early game. Zhong would lane bully every single one of the people that we have mentioned before, with the exception of Lapu Lapu, of course, if the Lapu is very good. But Zhong is also able to honestly completely devour team fights. The fact that you can fly in on your dragon and completely displace the enemy team, the fact that you're able to stun lock people with your Petrify skill 3 combo, there's way too many things about Zhong that make him too good. Now, for the recommended build, I recommend building in the same way as Ruby. You can either go for Fury Hammer into War Axe, into Queen's Wings, into Oracle, and into more sustain or defense items, or you can choose to go for just War Axe alone and then more sustain and defense items. Typically, me as a higher level elo player, I like to go only for War Axe, and then after that, I go for full tank. And the reason why I do this is because I want to be able to sustain, and the easiest way to make these sustain fighters not fall off in late game is to give them extra HP and sustain to balance this out. All in all, this is the build you should be using on Zhong, and let's get into the next hero and the final hero, which is the absolute menace to society on EXP lane right now, and there's no other hero that should be priority picked over him. There's no other hero that should be priority banned over him. This is the one and only Arlott. Arlott is by far the most broken EXP laner right now. He has stupid sustain. He has stupid damage and way too many dashes. You guys need to understand, we're playing Badang right now with perfect stun lock, but we're playing him with the ability to dash around like an absolute menace and do way more damage. You guys understand that Arlott stun locks, Arlott can set, Arlott can play with multiple different battle spells, which gives him no problems. He can play with multiple different builds, which gives him no problems. He is an absolute menace. There is a reason why he is the most picked EXP laner in the game right now, and why he is the one with one of the highest win rates and one of the highest ban rates. So the build that you need to be using for Arlott is as follows. You can either play with a full damage build, playing him on Assassin Emblem and Penetration, and playing him with Weapon Master and Lethal Ignition and yada yada yada, or you can be playing him on a sustain build such as this one, or you can be playing him on a tank build, which is the build that I recommend to you guys. Now, when I say tank build, don't forget you're still building Fury Hammer as your first item. After Fury Hammer, you immediately go for defense based on the enemy. If your lane matchup is a Guinevere, immediately go for a Radiant Armor. armor. If your lane matchup is a Zhong, immediately go for an Antique Curious or a Dominance Ice, because your whole job is to get Fury Hammer and then start building to tank as much damage as possible, because your sustain and HP in the later parts of the game is going to be too much. Now you guys need to understand that based on how many dashes Arlott has, it's almost impossible to catch him in the lane. I mean, think about it this way. If a CC ults you, you can save some minions, dash onto her, force her ultimate, and dash away off of those minions. And if she tries to chase you, you can literally just keep kiting her around. If a Zhong tries to get his passive marks on you, you can keep kiting him around. There's literally no hero in the game that can catch an Arlott that has the perfect micro during laning phase in terms of his dashes. He is way too strong, he is way too broken, and he is by far the best EXP laner in the game right now that you guys need to be playing to solo carry games. Now I'm going to be making an Arlott guide very soon, because Arlott is one of those heroes right now that is just way too oppressive and way too strong. He should be prio picked as your first pick, and he should be immediately banned if you do not have first pick, because I promise you this, if you play versus one good Arlott, you will realize that all of the other 4 heroes that I've mentioned on this list cannot do as much as he does. He can solo carry games the easiest, with the least amount of effort, but the most amount of maximization. Anyways though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what videos you guys want to see in the future. We're going to be doing a whole guide, the ultimate guide for EXP Lane very soon, but I believe that this video is more pressing right now because I've gotten way too many comments from people asking me what heroes am I supposed to play to solo carry in EXP Lane, and I saw Ruby's video, and even though he made a great video and a great guide, he was not being real with people who are above 50 stars. I believe that his guide was more aimed at people in the demographic of epic to mythical glory, because some of the heroes that he mentioned there are just gonna fall off way too hard the second that you get to immortal. Those heroes are going to get counterpicked and counterplayed, and I want to give you guys the heroes that you can play all the way from epic all the way up to mythical immortal and learn them perfectly and still have an amazing time, as opposed to picking a hero who's going to fall off versus better enemies. Anyways though, I'll see you guys in the next one.